While it is 40 degrees at the moment, I have gone ahead and set up my 1970s wood grain carrier air conditioner to make things a little more tolerable working on the 124. While I don't think it's 100% necessary to remove the center console to take the dash out, I want to do it to give it a good clean anyway. First thing to do is remove all of this stuff in the middle here, and then there's screws hiding underneath this carpet here at the rear and at the front of it to get this wood trim off. So you can see that screw there has been removed, or loosened at the least, and the front one here needs to be taken out. And the rest is pretty straightforward. So that screw's now removed. You just need to remove this bezel around the shifter housing on this particular model year. I don't know about others. And then the thing just basically lifts straight up and it hooks in at the front. And you can see those hooks there where it hooks in, and the tab at the rear. We've got these two screws here that also need to be taken off to remove the center console. And the ashtray needs to come out, and you can see two screws behind it there as well to get that out. So now that that's removed, you can see the electrical connector for the cigarette lighter and light inside the ashtray. And if you want to change that bulb, it's just sitting there. Next we'll work on the Tempmatic. It's just a case of removing the knobs. And there's two nuts on those shafts that need to be removed. And on this model year, there's also two screws at the bottom that need to be taken out. That is not on the later ones. So with that all removed, it simply unhooks from the top. This is best done with two hands, hence I'm struggling here while holding the camera with the other. So it just pulls out at the top. I'll get it eventually. There you go. And you can see those two hooks there. And then we've just got the four screws for the Tempmatic control panel, and then that comes out as well. So on the rear we've got like the world's hardest connector to disconnect. It's just got one squeeze tab at the bottom there and it unhooks at the top. Take your time because that's kind of a nightmare. It's ridiculously tight. And that's a closer look of what that connector looks like, and the big hook on the end that you need to lever it off. Next we unlock these two manual controls. They just move into the bigger section of the holes that are in this backing plate here, and then you push them the whole way through to release that backing plate and maneuver it out of position. And that's what it looks like. You push in one side first and then you move it out and you can maneuver it out. This control panel here with the switches on it, it's got these tabs that secure it either side into that console. Basically I removed this switch here to give me some clearance, forced it in one direction and then moved it out of there. And we can see now the two bolts that hold the center console to the dash. They need to be loosened, not removed, because it's into slots and it just slides rearward. And of course you do need to remove the radio as well. Mine is missing the locking tabs at the bottom because some moron snapped them off when putting an aftermarket stereo in here. I actually returned it back to Rebecca, and you can see those locking tabs that have been butchered off by previous morons. And my crappy wiring, restoring the factory harness as well. So you've got screws either side for this carpet. You can actually remove the console from the carpet, but I'd rather just take it out as a complete assembly. You can see the left and right screws there. And you also need to remove that footrest as well. So you do need to take the carpet out to make life easier. There's like a plastic nut that goes onto a coarse threaded stud in the firewall there, and that just comes off with your fingers. It's not hard to remove. It's a good opportunity to clean all of this area out once this is removed, and that's exactly what I'll be doing. So I've loosened those nuts. Of course, one of them was a constant battle. But I'll move on to getting this center vent out so I can access the top side. And you can see with the 4mm Allen you disconnect the control from the flap there. And then there's no clips on this right-hand drive car on the left, they're on the right side. It's probably a mirror image on the left-hand drive cars, because there's only one screw holding it in on the left-hand side, not on the instrument cluster side. And you can see those two clips there. You just need to pry those upwards, hopefully not snapping them off while you're pulling it out at the same time. This thing is partially broken, but it still works. And that's how you get to the bulb for the backlighting of that rotary knob as well. There doesn't seem to be any easy disconnect for that, so it just comes out there. And you can see here the nightmare that I had to deal with this spinning bolt here. That's why I needed to get that vent out. I mean, it needs to come out anyway to remove the dash, so it wasn't a waste of time. But I needed to grip onto that to stop that spinning, which I did successfully do by jamming a screwdriver in there. Now it's loose enough to get this thing to come out. And that is it removed there. You can see those open areas where you don't need to remove those bolts, you just need to loosen them. And then you just need to maneuver this whole thing out of the car. And that's it removed. And I did that successfully by getting that passenger side seat with the armrest all the way back and all the way down, and it was able to clear it. And I was a bit concerned that I lost my lock switch for the child safety switch, but I found it in the end anyway. These are little locking tabs that are supposed to stop those square bolts from rotating, but you can see that one on the left is bent like a banana. I've no idea how that would have happened. Someone has been ridiculously rough with this car in the past. Unless it came from the factory like that, that would be shocking for an MB technician to install something like that. Why would you even need to bend it like that? That's absurd. So I need to find another one of these bolts before I put it back together.